Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, to another episode of 12 Initiates. And today, I felt moved to talk on the topic of music. Music, music. Who don't love music? On a sad day, could listen to some music that feel good, and you feel better. It could be on a rainy day, and we feel better when we listen to it. We can feel good and listen to some sad music and try to wonder, why am I feeling sad? I don't I don't mean to feel like this, but I feel sad. So music, why is it important? Why did our ancestors create flutes out of bamboos, or trees, or wood? Why did our ancestors use the skin of animals and certain wood objects to make drums? Why was drums so important? And today they got it called 808s. Call it 808s. That's in one genre of it. Not sure if any other genre today uses 808s, but I'm pretty sure they do. I'm pretty sure they do. Excuse me, this is a smoothie I made today. Papaya, strawberry, and banana. Just drank it. Now, I remember growing up. If y'all heard of my other videos, I said I'm a 90s baby. When I was growing up, I hear music and cookouts, family reunions, everybody just having a good old time. The music back then, before the golden age, which is around 2000s, and a little bit after, not too far, because at some point, music started changing. This the auto tune era where you really couldn't hear their voice. Things started sounding robotic, and it sounded good to us because of the frequency we were in. So to go back a little bit more, the music videos I was looking at growing up as a child, they weren't explicit. You know, the ladies and the music was, their body was covered. They were having fun. They weren't overly sexualizing our future queens or our women or our wombats. They weren't overly sexualizing them. And the music video, the music was still dope. You know, I really couldn't understand why some of the men in that era, some of the, and this is no shade placed on them, because maybe they music industry or maybe the execs or the producers made them wear these things, but they were wearing some tight clothes. They were wearing some clothes that was, you got your Prince, you got Dr. Dre before he came out, the other stuff. I mean, example after example after example. Look at the back of vinyl disc records. You'll see what I'm talking about. But my point is, it wasn't overly sexualized. You know, they may have moved their rump around a little bit, but it was just enough. And then if you wanted to see something beyond that, you had to, what was it? BET Uncut. And all of that, you know, that was when the kids would sleep. That's when the kids would sleep. So music is a part of us. Music was a part of us before we were even born. Music was established in the DNA. Music is a way to connect with spirit. It's a way to connect without and within. That's why, you know, music can move you. But why does it move you, Thrice? Why does music move the human? Well, let's go into certain studies. You can, for example, there were students at a school that was told to take two plants. One plant, nice things were said to it, and the other plant, bad things were said to it. So all the kids line up and talk good things to this plant that you're supposed to speak good things to. I love you. You're beautiful. You're shining. You're bright. How are you? You make me smile. You have a pretty smile. And just keep complimenting this plant. Keep complimenting it. Giving it sound. I'll get to how this ties in with music. But sound. Because that's all music is a bunch of patterns of sound to convey a meaning. So they will keep talking to this one plant with all good affirmations, all positive vibrations and frequencies and whatnot. And then they had to turn and talk to the other plant. And this plant was, you say bad things to it, malicious things to it. You're ugly, you're foul, you have a bad day, just me saying this, you probably on the other end and it's feeling this. We are receivers. We are open. Our chakras are open vacuums. And why does the plant relate to us? Because the plant is mostly made up of water. Now, I don't know the exact percentage that's in the body, because one group of people say this percentage, the other group of people say this percentage. I'm not here to argue about the details. But what we all can agree on, all these groups can agree on, is that we are made up of mostly water. Why is this important? Well, water traps memory. Water can be influenced by its outside environment. Hence, if it's cold outside, the water's going to freeze. That's below 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Above 32 degrees Fahrenheit, it'll start to turn into a fluid liquid form. And as you keep going up on the thermometer of the temperature, the water will start boiling. It'll start moving fast. We are made up of water. So that's why when it's cold outside, we're not moving too fast. We're trying to warm up our extremities, our inner organs by bundling up. We're not out there moving too fast. Or if you exercise, and I don't know if anyone ever jogged, but if you jogged in the cold, you didn't feel cold because you were moving the water inside you to where it can resist that a little bit. And if it's hot, so forth, so on, the example keeps going. Days into this experiment that these children were observing, the plant that had all beautiful things said to it, guess what it did? It started to grow. I'll get to why that is. And then on the other end, the plant that was spoken to with all malefic energy, with foul language, with low vibrational, low frequency words, this plant soon died. This reminds me of some people I see walking around. What sound are they? Are they controlling the sound they're inputting? Are they just saying things because they're filled with this sound that they don't even have control in it? You ever just seen somebody just standing there and was like, start boom, 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 just started rapping? You like, you good? Yeah, he's good because he's working as a human, like scientific, like everything's working. He's just been programmed, or she's been programmed. Music and sound influences the water that is inside of us more than we may know or believe to know or be aware of. it goes as deep as if you weren't listening to music for a couple of days, you went to school and you went to a vending machine and ate some potato chips. Let's say the vendor that was in the truck providing his vending machine the potato chips. Let's say if he was traveling 30 miles and in that 30 miles he was banging some Cardi B, some Nicki Minaj. And then, I mean, it's the whole way now. It's the whole way to this vending machine. Then all of a sudden, you go eat the chips that was put in that vending machine. And you trying to figure out why Cardi B is in your mind. Why are you saying Cardi B? And you see, knowledge is power. But because we've been given these things without the proper knowledge, we end up become powerless. So, like I said, we're made up of more water. It's just like as above, so below. When you look at Mother Earth has more water than land. And it goes in depth. The further you go in, the darker these waters get. Now, going back to me being the 90s baby, and people wasn't wearing these very sexualized clothing, this apparel that, you know, will arouse the beast in everybody, the instinctual nature of everybody. The music then was cool. It was bringing people together. It was bringing family members together. It was just cool. Period. And I started getting older. And then I seen Nelly come out. It's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes. And you got the girl saying, I am getting so hot, I want to take my clothes off. And it probably wasn't even just then, but this is where I can remember. Maybe your experience is different, and you can remember a song prior to that. But I'm talking about that golden age where we all felt good. Wasn't nobody thinking about pretty much nothing but having a good time and working, going to school. This is when we thought college worked, but that's a whole different story. That's when you could go to work and you could pay your mortgage with that check. You could pay your bills with that check, the car insurance, the car payment, so forth and so on. I'm talking about that time. We all remember that time. Now, 40 hours ain't even good enough. It was a point in time when 40 hours was good enough. So when you think about when 40 hours was good enough and could pay for everything, for my generation, my parents always told me, and my guardians told me, that I was able to pay for everything back then. Of course, it was cheaper. The money had a little bit more substance to it, was value more. So I'm going further in time right here, and I'm remembering the Kelly Rowlands, the Beyonce. You know, Beyonce wasn't even very overly sexualized when she first came out. She wasn't. And then, slowly but surely, you know, and speaking about some good things, you know, getting people drawn in. BET got everybody drawn in during that golden age. The radios was even cool. It was cool to rap about stuff that didn't involve money, drugs, you know, taking your girl, smoking weed all day, drinking all day, going clubbing, getting hit upside the head with a club at clubs, esoterically, with the sound and vibrations. They won't talk about any of that. It was cool. You know, let's just say it, that music was cool. And then all of a sudden somewhere, and we pretend like it didn't happen, but at some point, the music that we was listening to became something that'll make our ancestors not want to show up. Our ancestors will walk the other way. Say, nah, I don't want nothing to do with that. I don't want nothing to do with that. And to fast forward a little bit, you know, now we got them twerking, and we got them squatting down with like a band-aid on, licking a lollipop. And you got little girls wanting to dance like these older women in these TV. Back then, the music videos that are out now was on BET Uncut, BET After Hours, late nights. We couldn't see that. We couldn't see any of that. Now, what was on BET Uncut and BET Uncensored, and so I don't know if I'm saying it right. I can't remember it as well as I want to right now. But now that is getting played as regular television for our little ones. It's like they had a control on it, or the illusion of control on it, to where we felt it was safe, and then just somewhere out of nowhere, I don't know if they changed executives, the CEO of BET, but whoever they got up in that company or establishment now is beyond frisky, beyond sexualized, because the stuff they're passing, allowing the little ones to watch is quite unique, scary to a degree, not because of exactly what's happening in that moment, but what that cause can affect, what the effects going to come from it, what's going to be the outcome of listening to these things. When we listen to positive music, our body on a very cellular level vibrates to a higher frequency. Now, it may take a continuous amount of days or moments to listen to positive music before you can start seeing it expressed on the outside. You see, because it has to start and manifest on the inside, and like a seed, germinate like a seed first. But even if that seed has to be taken care of while it's on the inside, you can't just plant a seed and leave it alone. You have to plant a seed and take care of it, and to the point that it grows so you can bear the fruit from it. We got a bunch of people, if I could put this in a metaphorical sense, we have a lot of individuals, and I would like to say brothers and sisters, the melanated culture, the melanated nation, they are growing a bunch of weeds. And they're not necessarily the farmers that's cultivating their mind. What's cultivating their mind is ads on YouTube. Believe it or not, you go through over 1,000 ads a day. You probably didn't even know that. You go through 1,000 ads a day. And some of it's music. Music you don't want to listen to. Music that is at a certain frequency, because by law, this was changed a long time ago, do your research on it, don't believe me, but by law, the frequency of music, the healthier frequencies of music, was deemed illegal and was changed by the big ballers or elites that are controlling this thing called a monopoly that we live in, this matrix, aka not real life. Just what they blanketed over real life, and it just works somewhat similar to the real thing, that we confuse it for the real thing. When you start listening to this music, when they start planting this weed into you, the radio, they plant weeds in you through the radio. You'll hear something on your way to work, and they just keep doom, 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 just getting plugged into your head, just getting input into your computer, just getting downloaded into your computer. And you turn it off. You going to work, you going to school, you go whatever you doing, whatever it is you do. And you can't get this song out your head. The song just keep playing. You like, why am I thinking about this? Something could happen now where you see a girl, you're a guy, you see a girl, and a song comes up, and it ain't nothing positive about that song. It got our eyes looking not at your heart, but down there. And then for the woman, y'all see a man, and y'all start thinking about these songs that come up that ain't anything positive, talking about future husband, taking care of, having kids, he gonna stay and be the father of the child. and we're gonna be successful, and we're gonna figure out how to break the Ouroboros of repeating ourselves in the same cycle. How to break? Nah, that's not coming up. So every day we're getting programmed on these things, and music is a huge influence to it. Your advertisements, they know that music is important. It affects us spiritually. It affects us subconsciously. It affects us consciously, but more importantly, subconsciously, because it's like a fertile body of soil that can be cultivated because your subconscious takes in everything. See, your conscious, you have a decision to say, I don't want to listen to this, or I don't want to listen to that. You cut it off. You don't like that channel consciously? Change the channel. Get another channel. Get another station. Where I come from, it was 92.1 and 106.5. But if I ain't like that station, I go back to the other one. It was funny to me because at a certain time, both stations be playing the same songs. Like, won't nothing different about them. They'll be playing the same exact songs. So we are getting programmed subconsciously, whether we know it. Because when you look at that Burger King commercial, they're going to put a nice tune to it that help the business get sales so you can go out there and buy that burger, not knowing that music helped it. You got a lot of merchandisers put music with the item they're trying to sell to help boost sales. It is something that is real. Our ancestors used music to make it rain. Not make it rain in the strip club. No, literally make it rain if it was a drought. And the farmers needed water for their plants to continue to harvest, for the community, for the land, for the people of the land. Because it was that influential. So if music can influence the upper spheres or the higher dimensions to the point that it can make rain come or make the rain stop and bring the sun, then what in the world do you think music can do to you while you in that car going to work, or while you in a depressed state and want to listen to some toxic feminine sing about stuff that ain't got nothing to do with your healing or being out of that depressive state? What is it doing? It has a major influence on you. We can't forget that because it's very important. Our body is made up of around over 60% water, give or take a few. Like I said, it depends. It's so important that all the pyramids have water underneath the pyramids. And we're just like pyramids. The water you drink and the vibrations that's in it, the frequency that's in it, it could affect you. If I'm sitting here today and my sewer is connected to my neighbor and they playing rock and roll all day, I'm going in my house, I'm going to try to figure out why I have a headache. Why do I have a headache? And I'm not even listening to music. It's because that frequency is traveling. It's powerful. It is powerful. Very powerful. Now, getting older, I was turned off by rap and hip hop. I love music. Don't get me wrong. Nowadays, my music is nature sounds, the sounds of the waves, the sounds of the wind brushing against the leaves, a bird whistling, 3 little birds by my doorstep, singing sweet songs, a melody's pure and true. Did y'all catch that one? Melodies pure and true. Now, I'm not a fan of the music that we listen to now because it's not pure and it's not true. Shout out to Bob Marley. We got to give big ups to him. He's a mastermind when it comes to creating music. Mastermind. But he didn't use his brain too much. He used his heart. But that's the trick though. But we ain't going to talk too much on that. That's the trick though. So I started becoming a fan of hip hop and R&B now because it changed, and everybody watching this can admit that. Now, maybe not the new generation, because they don't have 1 foot back in the past and 1 foot, they're just stuck right there where they're at. So the only thing that they see is what they see. You'll ask some of these kids in this up and coming generation, do y'all know about Bob Marley? Who Bob Marley? Do y'all know about it could come up with any example and they'll tell you, nah, I don't know about them. A Tribe Called Quest, I don't know about them. Most Def, nah, I don't know about them. So they're just stuck listening to it. And when I think of this new generation, I always think of that place that Thor was at in the movie Ragnarok, where it was just like a cyberpunk alienated artificial intelligence world. It's far from pure and true. And I started becoming a fan of it. I used to do music myself. I used to produce music. I used to rap myself. And I was so into it. When I learned the truth of music, it broke my heart. Almost broke my spirit. Ain't no worse, the only thing worse than a broke man is a broken man. I had to come to a bunch of realization. The music I was listening to was destroying me, was destroying my soul, was taking away from who I really was. And, I was doing the whole auto-tune and everything, and it was sounding good. It sound good, but it ain't good for you. It ain't good for you because it's very annoying when you go into a Kroger and you want to go get some food and somebody banging their 808s. License plate, screws coming out the license plate. Ain't none of the subwoofers tied down, so the car sound like a empty Pepsi can rolling down the hill. Rolling down the concrete hill, gravel hill. That's exactly what it sounds like. And you can't understand nothing. Bass all the way up. Treble ain't got no room to breathe. Just sounds so ugly. And we naturally look at it and is disturbed by it naturally. Now, for the individuals who say, I ain't disturbed by it, you need a frequency check. Need a complete frequency U-Haul. And just change it all up. Because if you're resonating with that, then that is a very low vibrational frequency. And you're just like that plant that those students was having that experiment with. And that plant was dying. We may not... one of the most toxic things I've heard my people say, what they don't know won't hurt them. It ain't killed me yet. I'm like, damn, if we talking about what we're doing and the subject killed me is anywhere in relation to it or neighboring that topic, something is wrong. Newsflash, something is wrong. Ain't nothing right about it. Ain't nothing right about it. There's scientists, and this was my research whilst I was doing music. When I became sick, you see, because Yah, the great Lord, the great one, will give you a sign when you need to change something up. So I was drinking, because that's what the music was when it was coming up. After high school, during high school, after high school, and so on and so on. It's just worse now. It's like to the third power now. But I'm talking about for my time, just for this example right here. It was messing me up. I wanted to drink. I wanted to smoke. I wanted to party. I wanted to be with all kinds of different women. Was only looking at women for what the music, was programming me to look at women for. And all of that landed me in terrible situations. Finding the wrong woman that is nowhere compatible with me nor my stars. Finding a woman that was just like the song. The song was dirty, so I was finding a woman that was dirty. But I can't really blame them. And for all my sisters out there, I can't blame y'all because all of us was under attack. And see, this is just one genre. I'm generalizing right now. See, we just talking about hip hop and R&B. I didn't listen to too much country, rock, bluegrass, techno. I didn't listen to none of that. So I can't really speak on that. I can tell you that rock was pretty heavy. Rock was pretty heavy when I heard it. I wasn't vibrating on that. Even while I was drinking, listening to the hardcore hip hop and rap and so forth and so on. But, I was smoking, I was drinking, my body started hurting, I was getting bigger, I started having black shades under my eyes, and after a while I was like, man, what's wrong? Like, me rapping, I thought getting money will help everything out, but I was killing myself. And bear in mind, money is not going to make me, it's not going to make none of y'all healthy. I've seen rappers who was doing their thing, and they thought they was going to be okay if they get that money in. All of a sudden, 2019, 2020 came around, and now they in the bed in a vegetative state. They was just partying a week ago. Now they on the hospital bed getting chemotherapy, getting checkups for certain things, and we are under attack, long story short. So I had a dream one night, and I think Dr. Sebi and Left Eye came in my dream. And they said, if you want to heal, then you got to heal this way. So, and that's fasting and juicing and herbs. That's a different topic we can get on. But for today, we're talking about music. When I was getting healthier, the music I was making before, I couldn't listen to that. I couldn't listen to that one bit. I'd be like, who is that? Yes, I'm the same vessel, same character, but I'm on a different frequency and vibration at my healing point. I figured out that if you put a glass of water, this smoothie with, if you put a glass of water in a room and you play positive music and you flash freeze that water and you look at the crystalline structure in that water through a microscope, then you'll see the crystalline structure is making very divine and eloquent patterns. Everything is of symmetry. Everything is balanced. Everything is for the most part beautiful. I take that glass out the room. Put another glass of water in that room. Sit it right on that table with all these speakers surrounding it. And play rock and roll. Play rock and roll. Play some Fuck the Police by NWA. Coming straight from the underground. And flash freeze that. And you will look at that water in a microscope. And that there is no crystalline pattern. None whatsoever. It's ugly. Looks straight like mud. It's a true eyesore, and it's a true realization. You can do some research on that. Do your own research on it. I can't remember what the name of that process is called, but it's somewhere in my DAF. It's somewhere. So you can, with that experiment, if you know the name of it, put it in the comments, by the way. Put it in the comments if you know the process of freezing water with sound. I want to say Cairo something, start with a C. Anyway, these realizations, when discovered, will change all the individuals listening to music, if they care. Now, if you don't care, you might as well just hit the X button and go play in traffic. You might as well hit the X button and just play in traffic, and save some of the computer storage for somebody who is trying to listen to this and figure out what's wrong with them and how can they transcend these problems that they can't even see. Because that's how we're getting attacked, with everything we can't see. Something that is all subconscious, invisible attacks. Bear in mind, this is invisible war. They coming for your spirit. They've been coming for our spirit and been planning a long time. They just made it look real nice and like a picnic at first. Then they set that picnic on fire. AKA the music was beautiful when it first came out. It'll draw you in like a fly on light. Draw you right in. And all of a sudden, they hit the electricity up on that light. It was just zapping folks. Zap, 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 zapping folks. Not too much to get noticed, but enough that after a while and repetitious patterns, then the effects will slowly come on to where you can't trace it back to where it came from. Because this is just one aspect out of the 12. And this is what it means to be a part of the 12 initiates, to see things from 12 different angles. Now, to get back on my story with doing music, I stopped music. I had people on my SoundCloud saying, "Hey man, why you stop your music? Why? I thought you was gonna make a music video for this." I can't tell them anything. You know, you're on your spiritual journey. There's some people that are in the music industry today that started making music, hoo rah rah, whatever, low frequency music. And then they've heard that voice from Yah or their ancestors saying they got to do something completely different. Then they start doing something completely different and it goes against their contract. And then all this other stuff start happening. Different story for a different time. There's an inner battle with that. Because we was believed in I don't want to say bred, but it's almost close to it. We was raised to like this kind of music. But we were young and naive and very impressionable. Very impressionable. So I stopped doing this music. Told my fans I couldn't do anymore. It didn't go anywhere. It just stopped. Then I took my travels from East Coast of the United States and went closer to the sun. I went out to Costa Rica. I was already listening to Spanish music a little bit from the construction days. You know, if you work in construction, you got a bunch of Migos, you got a bunch of Hispanics, you know, who's listening to that music, whether you driving to the job or you on break with them, you know. So I had a little bit of the culture in me before I left. So I went out there, and the music that they were playing, it was still life-bringing. And I said, how come? Now, don't get me wrong, they still get their party on. They still get their party on. They still playing American music. Why? I don't know. It's like taking candy to Africa. Like, why do that? Why are you taking American hip-hop and taking it to Latin America? Don't know. That's not for me to figure out. All I gotta do is control the things I can control. And I'm in Central America, and I'm listening to the music they listen to. I could actually understand it because I have a Spanish ear. Yo puedo hablar español todo. And I'm like, wow, they not talking about all this stuff. They're talking about general topics that everybody can relate to, that can make you feel good. I mean, hip-hop and R&B has been so infiltrated that they're not just infiltrating that, they're infiltrating another genre that the melanated community is listening to. That's gospel. They're infiltrating gospel. Gospel was brilliant and pristine when it came out. And now they're rapping gospel. And talk about charlatans, that'll go to another story. And, you know, the Freemasonic agenda that's slowly wrapping that up like some boa constrictor. We'll talk about that in due time. Key is pay attention to what you're listening to. It will affect you. It can affect you. It can take you from a high vibration to a low vibration. Be careful what you listen to when you in a lower vibration, because you can start to end up in the negatives, and then your world will start expressing that, whether you know it or not. So if you're in a high vibration, it's like working out with muscle. It's hard to gain, but for sure enough, it is easy to lose. It's the same thing with this vibrational stuff. So when you're in a high vibration, listen to more vibrational frequencies. Go sit beside a river flowing, hitting them rocks, and the trickles you could hear from it when it rolls off of the riverbed. Go listen to nature sounds. Sit in the middle of a forest while it's fall. I'm talking, because I love the fall weather and the state I came from. The trees turn beautiful colors, orange, yellow. I mean, sit there, listen to the leaves falling, listen to the trees dancing. You'll find yourself picking up on a frequency that you didn't think was there. You see, music is the language of our body. You could have a group of people that are imprisoned in the mind, and you bring in somebody who is of a higher vibration, using their throat chakra very eloquently and very inspirational like, and they will move these minds that feel like they're in prison to the point that they want to liberate themselves and become free. Some singers died by this, or suicided, aka murdered. Some singers and some very respected artists were killed for doing this, because that goes against the agenda that they're trying to put on us. It goes against that. For all my future rappers out there, recognize what this industry is. They're not even keeping new artists in the game. They're killing them. It's like a slaughter. And you take the S off of it, ain't nothing but laughter. People laughing at it. This is a slaughter for the melanated folks. Let me ask you a simple question, and you could tell me what you think in the comment section. Out of all the genre of music, which genre is it where the artists are killed off by their own people? Oh, so there is a plan to get rid of us. Because I'm pretty sure y'all thinking hip-hop and rap. Now, country, rock, so forth and so on, if they ain't sniff their life away, sniff their soul away, they have probably been suicided. You see, but they couldn't go and use the same tactics with the Caucasian community. They can't use the same the tactics that they use with us on them. Because the breadcrumbs would be too big. We'll follow it. Be like, Then we'll start working together because we start finding out we got a common enemy. So they leave that line very obscure, just enough so we can't recognize it. But I'm here to shine light on that, brothers and sisters. I am here to shine light on that. That's what I do. I'm a medium, you see. I'm a messenger. The message is of life. The message isn't of death, though we can talk about those aspects of it. You see, the rappers that are getting into this industry now, I don't even want to say go get a job. I wouldn't say go to college. Because if you've been around for the past umpteenth years, getting a job don't work. Going to college don't work. I would say start a business. For everybody putting their money to these songs they're making, that money is just being pissed in the wind. Long story short. And y'all could put y'all penny nickels and dimes together. Create an apartment complex. Y'all could put y'all penny nickels and dimes together. Create a car washing business. Create a laundromat. if people got together and sold vending machines the same way they sell drugs, could make some real good legal money. There's more and more ideas that can come, but the music industry is dead when it comes to hip hop and R&B. Then you have your gatekeepers like your Ice Cube, like your Fat Joes, like your Snoop Dogs, and that's if they're the same character. They've been looking real different as of lately. Been looking very, very different as of lately. A lot of them do. They don't look the same. Now I can tell if someone who looks one way gets older. The only person I think is the same since day one and didn't get cloned or changed is Michael Jordan. And I'm just saying that because he's melanated. Of course he don't do music. Did he do music? I mean, he was versatile. He probably did. He did a lot of things. But you could look in their eyes and you could see the old age in them. Now, these celebrities nowadays, the ones that are gatekeepers to go beyond and above that ladder, those gatekeepers, the ones that sit on every rung of that ladder, they don't look the same as they did. They look a lot different. Maybe look like something took them over. Or maybe their consciousness was placed into another vessel. Or maybe someone created another version of their vessel and put their consciousness in them. They ain't speaking on the same stuff no more, and they always are going towards the next trend, the next thing that's getting talked about. If they don't do it, they get in trouble. When you become a rapper and that, or a hip hop artist or R&B artist, every single one of them will tell you, you become a slave, a sex slave, a prostitute, a drug slave. You gotta keep pushing this music out to your people. You gotta keep killing your people. You see, if you trying to raise your people, then we coming for you. You can't even get money from music talking about drugs, guns, shooting up people, drinking this, just to go create businesses for them. Because you working backwards to them. You putting the carriage in front of the horse. And it don't work for that Freemasonic agenda. I believe it was Rockefeller who changed the law to saying that we can't provide 432 hertz music out to the people. We had to change it to 440 hertz, which it doesn't do the body right. It's a disintegration at a molecular level. If you listen to No One Man No Cry, No One Man No Cry, and you listen to that in 432 hertz, you gonna feel it. Bob Marley at the end of his song ain't gotta say, you feel me. No, it was produced in that and the hertz that was meant for you to feel it. So it's already there. Now you use that same song and you turn that frequency knob and output it that way. Output that same song, but in a different frequency on 440 hertz. You just gonna hear the song. You're not gonna feel it. You just gonna hear the song. You won't feel it in your heart. You just won't. So the music that come out today is not sitting at 432 hertz music. It is not healing you. It's not raising the community. Any of that. 440 hertz is attacking the community. It's straight up attacking the community. And to overcompensate for the music we can't feel, they invented this thing called 808s. And that's even worse than 440 hertz. But you gonna feel them 808s though. You definitely gonna feel those 808s. You see, I wanted to talk about music today because I'm in the practice of saying mantras. I'm in the process of learning the planetary mantras to evoke. No, let's not use evoke. To bring forth the ability of a god from the planetary categories. You know, the main ones being 7, generational. You got your Uranus, Pluto, Neptune, I believe that's it. Anyways, and those mantras, when I say them, they produce feelings in me in certain places of my body and activate certain chakras. If I'm saying the mantra of Saturn, I'm gonna activate my root chakra. If I'm saying a mantra, and this is all sound, it's music, because it's different hymns and different sounds and different vibrations that, when put together, starts looking like a pattern, and these patterns start trickling out into the world and bouncing back. So if I'm talking about Jupiter, I'm activating my sacral chakra. If I'm doing the mantras with Mars, I'm activating my solar plexus. If I'm doing the mantras with the sun, I'm activating my heart. If I'm doing the mantras with Venus, I'm activating my throat chakra. I'm unclogging my throat chakra. If I say the mantras of Mercury, I'm unblocking, unlocking, and activating my third eye, my pineal gland. If I'm using the mantras of the moon, the mantras of the moon, I'm putting my crown on. I'm opening up my crown chakra. Very powerful stuff, people. Very powerful stuff. And see, that technology they give us is nowhere close to the technology that we were using at first to move mountains, to grow crops, to keep away animals from terrorizing your crops. With some more examples of what these mantras can do at the right time, at the right place, with the right items. What else can it do? It could turn fighters into lovers. It could turn your enemy into your friend. You see, my words, my sound, if put together and it sounds musical, can turn your friend to your enemy, or it can turn your enemy to your friend. Some very powerful stuff. I don't have to worry about somebody coming to shoot me or doing a drive-by at me if the frequency right, and I put the frequency out there to keep those things away, to keep those so-called demons or lower vibrations at bay. If you're sitting at a high frequency and you're speaking positive things, two things gonna happen. First of all, people will feel you. Second of all, you will trigger a lot of people's demons. They won't even know it until they start getting affected. Like, what's happening to me? This person here is just triggering the mess out of me. You'll feel like a walking landmine. You can't stand this person. Don't know his name, don't know her name, don't know where they're from, have no history from them. First time you seen them. But they triggering you because of their vibration. This is how powerful it is. This is the esoteric knowledge that comes into going within. You see, everybody's so focused on tomorrow, next week, next month, go backwards. Go backwards and go backwards as fast as you can. I remember when I was watching, this is sidebar, I'll get back to music, but it's gonna all come back full circle. I was watching Ready Player One, and they put a very divine hint in Ready Player One when they was doing that racing. All those races was racing forward, and all of them had the same demise. Couldn't none of them beat the game until the main character on Ready Player One found out some esoteric knowledge from the creator of that Matrix. That Matrix is the same thing we're living in now. There's a creator, there's somebody behind that curtain like Oz. And when he got that wisdom, he said go backwards. And go backwards as fast as you can. You see, because that's where the liberation is. Because that's where the true knowledge is. The more we go forward with them, the more we get bound into their artificial intelligence. Just like this. In an infinite loop. We get bounded into their artificial intelligence. We go backwards. We start finding out who we are. And we able to move the material out the way. And see behind the material. See it what is the truth in its truest essence. I implore everyone who's trying to liberate their family through music, people, and if you want to know, what I used to sound like back in the day, I say back in the day like I'm old. Yeah, I'm about to have my first Saturn return. Nowhere close to being old, and know we can live beyond 120 years old. So it's a little programming I'm doing as well. But look up Kash, Kash, and Late Nights, SoundCloud. It'll come up. I was there just like you. You know, paying money to do all of this, to make the sound like this. And it'll never sound like how you want it to sound, because at the beginning and end of the day, it just don't resonate with your bone marrow. You're trying to do something right for your people, putting out the wrong kind of vibration. You see, your subconscious and spirit is not going to lie to you. Period. It's not going to lie to you. So if you're trying to liberate your people, your family, your people locked up, that's a different story. We'll talk about the whole prison system, because that is one of the spheres in the oppression. And the music industry ties to the prison systems, because the same people that are gatekeepers, the same people who are the owners of these contracts, got stocks in with the prison. You see, it's a lose-lose. So if you're trying to get your mans out of jail by rapping, know what you're getting yourself into, and know that you binding him down more, him or her down more. If not, bringing his posses over, bringing his homies in the jail with him. If not them, you bringing your homies' kids into jail right after they die in it or leave. I bet you their kids gonna be rolling in right after, because it's like a factor. It's like it's a systematic oppression, and it works like clockwork. It works like clockwork, and it just keep going till somebody has the realization, and I thank y'all for this, to be able to take that Ouroboros tail out his mouth to stop the cycle for the sake of the next generation. That's called being a visionary. Being able to see what your steps take you and how far they go. But how can you see where your steps going if you can't see the map? If you looking at the map and trying to get rich, but you can't see beyond 95, I-95, you can't see beyond Florida, you can't see beyond Virginia, you can't see beyond Baltimore, you can't see beyond New York, you can't see beyond, and you think that the world is your state, then doing music is something you have no business doing. You see, it's a dog-eat-dog world in it. And I was told by someone wise, if you want to beat your opponent, then you got to know your opponent in all aspects from head to toe. You got to be able to break down your opponent in different dimensions to see where it ticks and talks in this dimension, and see where it ticks and talks in this dimension, and see where it ticks and talks in this dimension, to the point that you are thinking like a criminal mastermind. And it's just like this with the music industry. So mothers, fathers of the melanated nation, stop letting your offspring, if you're a true guardian of your children and want to break these cycles and get out of this, they are our future. That's how you protect the future. That's how you protect the king on the chessboard, is with our children. You have to protect them. So we have to have this esoteric knowledge. And esoteric just means hidden. We must know this hidden knowledge for the sake of them. Because the way it's going down now, we used to just see a couple people fall off the cliff every now and again, metaphorically speaking. Now, you got generations of kids falling off the cliff. And we just sitting back like, wow. Talk about, population control and stuff. And who knew it binded with music? I heard a video by Nipsey Hussle the other day. It's one of the things that made me want to feel like I want to do this video. Nipsey Hussle said, all these rappers, gang banging, You know, when they go out there and gangbang, they not looking for scholars. They see a scholar, they pass them up while they in their car. You know, they see a businessman with a suit and tie on, they pass them up. You know, they see a grandmother with a child, they pass them up. But the minute they see somebody that looks just like them, sagging their pants, got the nice shoes on, got the watch on, got the jewelry all everywhere, got the Crown Vic, got the Cadillac, got the Lexus, got the rims on it, got the music playing. They aiming straight for them, and you want to know why? Nipsey Hussle said because they're targeting themselves, and that was powerful to me. They targeting their own demons that they see in other people. It's a collective conscious, and until we realize we all connected, we'll never be able to break through this. Everybody talking about a revolution this, a revolution that. Set a revolution to your DNA first. That's what they don't want us to do. And that's a jewel I'm dropping. I'll drop that like a clumsy burglar. A jewel that they don't want you to know is you put that fire to your DNA. All this, you know, F the white man, F the Caucasian, you know, all this, you know, what, them Migos, man, we ain't trying to deal with them. Them Migos, we ain't trying to deal with them Taco Bell eating some guns and XYZ. Look, they're not the problem. Those ethnic groups, those groups of people are not the problem. You know who the problem is? We the problem. We are our own problem. But don't have the cojones to say we are our own problem. I'm gonna let that one simmer and marinate for a second. We're so strong-headed, but we can't take accountability for our own actions. So, with me talking about music, and I'll go in depth with this more, and this is just more so an overview. I'll go in depth with it more in future videos, and start talking about singing bowls, start talking about crystals, start talking about that your chakras have different frequencies, planets are at different frequencies, and if you go within, you can hear these planets' frequencies because you are one part of them. You go deep enough, you'll start hearing Om. You'll start hearing God. Heal. If you're going to make music, make healing music. Set a revolution on the inside first. Don't be that, oh, black power, this, that, and this. Because I'm going to tell you, the people who rule the music industry, the people who are the doorkeepers or the gatekeepers of the music industry and of the government and of this mind control they put in you, they know that by definition, yeah, I said it, not definition, but by definition, black is termed as dead. And our ancestors, we didn't go by color. We didn't go by color as ancestors. So, just to wrap it up, my viewers, subscribe, like, share, and we're going to continue filtering this collective conscious river that flows in between all of us. And I still want the answer of knowing what genre it is killing their own people the most. And then you ask me, is this by coincidence or is it planned? If we have the smarts to plan a whole lick, to plan a whole way to rob a store, to plan a whole way to sell drugs and create a network of selling drugs in the community, under the police nose, if you're not with the police. If you're with the police, then woe to you. Woe to you, my friend. But if we have all the intelligence and the ambition to do this thing, all we got to do is point our moral compass a little bit over towards the north into a higher direction. And we'll be able to set ourselves free from the stuff that we're rapping the blues about. Period. So, with that, Y'all have a nice day, and be on the lookout for the next video. We have many, 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 many more topics to talk about. This is your boy Thrice. About to say my name. We don't need no names. I am you, you are me. It's your boy Thrice. And be on the lookout for the next video. Have a great one.